Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
Behind those cozy nights at home, thousands of employees at BP go to work every day. People producing more U.S. natural gas. People building grid-scale solar capacity. People turning landfill waste gas into pipeline-quality renewable natural gas. And people delivering all of that power where it's needed. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
Thank you.
So your innards ain't your innards?
They got scooped out. Replaced every bit.
What'd you want to go and do that for?
For the money. They're paying me to transport what they stuck in.
You're smuggling human organs?
They're grown in a lab. The only way they can move them is in a person. Not sure why.
Because the technology's not ready. Blasphemers are unapproved. Likely unstable. You're not just a carrier, you're an incubator.
I was supposed to be at the drop spot 2 weeks ago, a clinic in Ariel. They were to open me up, take out the goods, and put my own workings back.
So what happened?
A better offer. Another buyer was willing to go 3 times the going rate. It's enough so I could get my folks off that rock they've been forced to live on. Set them up someplace better, someplace warm.
That's real nice.
Well, hello, boys and girls and everybody else. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Firefly. We're just two boys watching every episode of Firefly for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
Today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 12, titled The Message, directed by Tim Minear, written by Joss Whedon and Tim Minear. And this episode did not air in the United States.
Where
so I have no numbers.
Did it air?
I don't know. It just says did not air in the USA on the spreadsheet that our boy Holy Fat Fish sent over to me. So thanks for that, Holy Fat Fish.
He loves his spreadsheets.
Who doesn't? But before we get into the episode, everybody, we've got some announcements. We got some reminders. We got a whole bunch of stuff at the top here. Number one, join our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, where we are on the last episode of Angel. We are finished Angel in terms of watching.
We did it, Joe.
We did it. I finished watching that episode and there was a bit of melancholy. I will say, I'm like, I won't experience these characters ever again for the first time.
Yeah. It's been a long ride. It
really has been.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. We also have The Long Kiss Goodnight out. That is out on Boys Watching Movies. If you missed it for Christmas, it's still up there. Also, a side announcement. I went through and did some editing. Patreon has this new feature where you can individually buy specific episodes. I did it for the movie podcast. So if you want to just buy one of those, I think it's $3. I set that, $3 for every one of the movies. So if you're like, I don't really want to fucking subscribe and get all of these movies. I only really want to hear Scrooged, or I only really want to hear Mr. Fix-It.
Or Cruel Intentions, or Love Actually.
Irresistible. Well, Cruel Intentions we put out there for free.
But if you want to pay for it again.
You want to retroactively pay for it, go for it. But yeah, if there's only like certain movies that you're interested in, you can go ahead and do that. $3 per pop. And yeah, there's that.
We should also mention that on Patreon, we are moving on from Angel eventually.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to
We have a couple of season recap, maybe do a series recap.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Angel, we will be diving into Dollhouse, the other Joss Whedon show that we haven't tackled yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that coming up. Excited about that. I know nothing about Dollhouse.
I know very, very little.
I know that our girl Faith is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it.
Yep.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that after a couple of weeks of recapping Angel. Join our Discord. Fun stuff going on there. Good stuff. And you had something that you wanted to announce, Vance?
No, it was a little follow-up for the show.
Okay.
For Firefly. A little small one.
Well, here's another announcement, everybody. This has been a long time coming. We have been seeing everybody furiously debating what the next show the boys are going to be doing after Firefly. We've had this plan in the works for forever. We have made this decision before we were done with Buffy, I think. And I think it's finally time to announce it. A little New Year's Eve special announcement for everybody. The next show that we will be doing after Firefly, drum roll, Veronica Mars.
Yep. VM.
We're doing it.
We're doing Veronica Mars.
We are going full throttle into Veronica Mars after Firefly. I'm very excited about it. I know Vance is very excited about it.
I'm excited. I know very little about the show, but I'm excited to see Kristen Bell. I'm excited to see the mystery. I'm excited to dive into this whole new show. Yeah.
Same. I think there is a little bit, I don't know, maybe because Firefly is so short, there was a little bit of hesitancy for me. And it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this, and I feel like people are like, oh, this is kind of just like a placeholder. But I will say Firefly has gotten pretty damn good.
It's gotten better.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I am still, and I'm very pleasantly surprised by that, because after the first couple episodes of Firefly, I was like, ooh, gotten a lot better.
They just needed to stop airing the episodes in the U.S. That's what was holding it back.
That was the special sauce for Firefly. But yes, be on the lookout. We're going to finish up Firefly. Going to do the movie Serenity. And move on to Veronica Mars. So be stoked about that. We'll see the rejoicings in Discord. We'll see some people pissed. Oh, you didn't do Charmed. Oh, I was hoping for Gilmore Girls. Oh, I was hoping for Gossip Girl. Sorry to everybody of those people. But Veronica Mars it is.
Yeah, sorry, we're not going to do Supernatural. Sorry, guys.
Oh my God, yeah. We'll be in the grave before we finish that show. But anyway, one other additional awesome feature of the Discord is you can submit lyrics for our Serenity Firefly recaps. And this week, the uncontested winner is Slither Ann. She had a little recap of our last episode, Trash. So, without further ado, gratuitous nudity, whores and shuttles, glory be. It's not a porn, oh heavens no, just a space-themed cowboy show. Saffron Yolanda, Boobs McGee, returns to con Serenity. Mal don't care about clacking bits as long as he gets back on the ship. There's no pod I'd rather hear than the boys inside my ear. One more time for the culture. There's no pod I'd rather hear than the boys inside my ear. Yeah. Thank you, Slither. And shout out one of our most loyal listeners of the podcast.
Yeah.
Glad to get you on there.
Crushed it. And just taking a holiday break.
Yeah, he got a victory lap. Or she. I'm not sure what Anzai. Yeah. But, or they. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Cracking open this White Peach Zoa.
Oh, this is a big episode. It's a big week. So I'm going very big with the Creamsicle C4.
Oh, hell yes, dude.
I'm about to get weird.
Mm-hmm. This White Peach, though, that tastes just like a peach ring. That's pretty damn good.
Oh, nice.
Pretty damn good. All right, let's get into the message. But before we do predictions, Vance has a follow-up thing.
Yes, the follow-up, someone, Tofu Lover, mentioned this on Discord because I brought up the nitpick of Saffron kissing and it would poison her too. But there was a mention that she had a seal on her lip. So
there we go. Isn't that? Did I talk about that?
No,
I said it was like poison ivy.
You mentioned poison ivy, but you didn't mention that she had the same thing that poison ivy had. Yeah. But yeah, so that's fine. So when she was putting the lipstick on outside, she probably wasn't putting on the poison lipstick. That's why I brought up that nitpick. Predictions. Joe, you said a book episode, tie in heist with the Bible, lesson learned.
Struck out on that one.
I said they get a message and have to decipher it to figure out job they're doing. I give myself like 10%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll give you a little bit.
They get a message. They don't really have to decipher it because it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit.
A little bit.
10%. 10%. 10%'s fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that a message?
All right. So we open the episode with a recap of the Saffron episode, the trash one where they stole the laser gun, the laser Lassiter. And they open this episode in a crazy, bustling city space station shuttle thing. There's a carnival barker. He's talking to people. He's like, hey, I've got the craziest thing that you'll ever see in your entire life. I have certifiable proof that there is alien life. It's right behind this curtain, see, and you'll all pay 12 bits to see it. And then we have Simon and Kaylee going in to look at the quote-unquote alien life form. And Simon very quickly deduces that it is just a cow fetus. And Kaylee's all confused. And she's like, what? How do you know that? And he's like, it's just upside down. And she's like, oh, okay.
I guess they do surgery on cattle fetuses in med school. I don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
But I think that this kind of pretty conclusively shows that there aren't aliens. We've just terraformed a bunch of planets. No alien life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
He's not doing Star Trek. He's not doing Star Wars.
But that also goes to show you that the Reavers are just fucked up human beings. Yeah.
I don't think we'll see them again.
Yeah.
I think that's done.
Yeah. But it kind of looks like Kaylee and Simon are on a date. They're like walking pretty closely to each other. And Kaylee is charmed by Simon because he's talking to her about the cow fetus. And Simon is like very smitten with her. He's like, oh, you always find the bright side of things. You're always like so optimistic. And it's very lovely. And then Kaylee's like, what else do you like about me? And Simon's like, I mean, your eyes, they're so eye-like, and your hair, it's very nice. And Simon gets all nervous, and he's like, little schoolboy crush. And Kaylee's like, oh, I'm glad that you like me this much. I think that you're quite swell too. And she's like, why do you think I'm so cute? And Simon's like, well, basically, everybody else that I'm around is either married, dead, or a man. So you're kind of all I have. And then Kaylee's like, wow.
He's like, well, on the ship, there's a married woman, my sister, a working girl, and then there's you. So, yeah, by default, I like you.
Yeah. Kaylee's like, well, wow, you really know how to compliment a lady. She does the old Kaylee act of crossing her arms. We're back at it.
Yeah. She's good at ship machining and being mad at Simon. Those are her two modes.
I have the quote that Simon said, Kaylee is like literally the only girl in the world. And then Kaylee kind of rambles about like, oh, I bet back when you were a hotshot doctor on Ariel or whatever, There were all kinds of nurses for you to fuck, and now I'm just the only thing that you can handle because I'm the only one on the ship. What? So she storms off. Zoe and Wash come in, and Wash makes some joke about like, oh my God, it's an alien life. Oh, and there's something in this tube too, which was the cow fetus. He's saying that Simon's an alien.
Yep.
Zoe puts her arm around Simon. She's like, you fucked it up again, didn't you? And Simon's like, yeah, I am not good at talking to girls. And Zoe goes, you're good at talking to anybody?
It's funny that he seems confused as to what he did that would have pissed her off. It's like, did you not hear that?
Yeah. Simon's such a dim-wit.
Yeah. Kaylee's like, oh, we got this room alone for another 7 minutes. And then 1 minute later, they come in. I was like, what happened if you guys started making out?
Wash and Zoe would have joined in.
Yes. Then it would have really been the show that we've been waiting for.
Yeah. But unfortunately, no. They just come into wisecrack and dunk on Simon being a fucking dork.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So then we have Mal and Inara. They're walking through the city and they've been trying to sell the gun. And they're having a hard time. Nobody wants to buy it. And he's like, I don't know. I don't get it. This is like a priceless item. I don't know why no one wants to buy it. And Inara's like, well, I've got an idea. And Mal's like, no, we are not doing your idea. And she's like, it'll get sold for sure. He's like, no, it's too dangerous. You think that you're a part of the crew now? You think you're a part of the missions just because you were in on the last job? You're not part of the crew. We're not putting you in any danger. And at that point, you think that's what this episode is going to be about, but it is not.
You kind of think that because of the recap too, that they did a full recap just so we know what they're talking about when they mention the gun. But that's the only reason it's really there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you see Inara in the recap with the gun. It's like, oh, Inara's like becoming a team player here. But this is like the only mention of this that we get.
I like that Mal doesn't want Inara to be a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about how like it'll get you in trouble with the Alliance. Like we don't want that for you.
But yeah, you should still be on this criminal ship that does criminal stuff that puts you in harm's way all the time because it's cheap.
You know what's going on.
I don't know.
Well, you're an accomplice. You're not you're not guilty of doing the crimes, but you'll still go to jail. But anyway. There's a little scene there while they're talking where a little kid like tries to rob Mal and Mal just thwarts it immediately, which I thought was a nice little touch.
Yeah. That I think that almost happened when they were playing pool at one time and they were getting pickpocketed. It's always nice to know that he can sense that stuff, criminals being criminals and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go over to the postman to pick up some packages that have come in for them. Jayne and River and Book, they all show up here too. And Jayne's looking at River like, man, this girl's a space cadet. And Book is like, yeah, aren't we all?
She's trying to eat something called the ice planet and she can't get it.
Yeah. It's like a ball on a string type. And she's like trying to.
Yeah, it's like a snow. Yeah, it's like probably like some type of frozen candy, like a frozen treat that's like on a string on the end of a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the postman is like, all right, Mal, Zoe, you got this gigantic package. And Jayne, you've got some packages, or you got a package. And Jayne is like, I got something? I got a post? So Jayne goes over and he opens up his, and it's a letter from his mom. And she's like, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that everything is okay. I made you this hat. And he puts it on. It's a little beanie type thing with a little koosh ball on the top, and it covers his ears.
It's the little flap hats. It's those hats he's been wearing. It's a nice little callback to figure out where he gets those hats from. His mom makes them for him. So it's like a really nice little thing.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Like he puts it on and he's like, how do I look? And everyone's like, you look like a dildo, but we won't say that to your face. It's like, you're pulling it off there, Jayne. He's like, hell yeah.
This guy. It's so funny. And he can't read well. He's like Charlie, and It's Always Sunny trying to read that letter, sounding it out. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mal and Zoe, they look at their giant package and they're like, well, we didn't order anything. And they're like, well, might as well see what's in it. They open the package, and inside is a giant, like, silver, just call it what it is, a casket.
Mm-hmm.
And they open it up, and who is inside but our friend Webbs/Knox / character to be named later in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this guy and I was like, God damn, Joss loves this guy.
I think I had saw before that he was in an episode of Firefly, and I didn't remember it until I saw him in this. Jonathan M. Woodward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to see him. I like this guy.
Yeah.
So much.
He's interesting. He's interesting in this one.
I wonder, was this before? I think this was before Buffy. Definitely before Angel. I think this might be his first thing. And then he was Webbs. And then he was Knox.
I will say, if I had to rate his characters, it would go in appearance that we saw them in, which would be Webbs, Knox.
Yeah.
And this guy who's named Tracy.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, it's diminishing returns on his appearances, though. So it's not like it's not like he comes back and it's like hitting it out of the park with it. And it's not his fault. It's just the characters that he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Particularly towards the end of this episode, there's some rough spots.
Yeah, I got some thoughts on this episode, especially towards the end.
But yeah, it's Webbs, Knox / Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
He is in this casket and he appears to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get a 7 years ago flashback of wartime where Tracy is, he's slacking on his war duties. He's in the middle of like a firefight, and then he takes an opportunity to stop and open a can of beans to eat. And an Alliance soldier is like sneaking up on him, but before he can sneak up on Tracy, Zoe gets the drop on him, slits this guy's throat, kills him, and then she goes over to Tracy like, what the fuck are you doing? You're eating beans right now?
Yeah, you know, when you get that craving.
Yeah.
That'd be a great beans commercial, you know?
Absolutely. He was looking to kill them with chemical warfare with his magical toots.
He's like, I can't help it. I just love beans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, geez, dude, if somebody's shooting at you, maybe just, you know, eat later.
This guy seems like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, right? But he's somehow revered in this episode. It's so weird.
But Zoe's lecturing him about like, he's like, man, I didn't even hear you coming. I didn't even know that you were about to kill that guy. And she's like, it's called stealth, idiot. It's important. It's important. That's how I kill all my people, so that none of them can see me coming. None of them know that I'm coming. It's like the best way to do it is to be sneaky. And then it immediately cuts to Mal just spraying bullets all over the place, screaming like, come and get me, motherfuckers. Let's go. He's just like shooting all over the place.
Yeah.
And Zoe's like, of course, there are other schools of thought.
Yeah. In this scene, I noticed that Mal is wisecracking and joking. And I don't know. We actually saw the pilot episode. Was not the way he was in the pilot.
Yeah.
And even, I think they even had that guy from the pilot that was scared to end up dying.
Oh, yeah. Because
they call
that's
his
the
name.
lieutenant. He's like all freaking out.
Yeah. It's a different setup, but I think they used the same name. A name I have written down because I thought it was going to be important in the first episode. Only to not be seen until now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do think in the pilot, he was a little wisecracking. Like he had like pretty good faith about they were going to win.
He had faith that they were going to win and he said stuff, but he wasn't like, oh, yeah, come after me, guys. Like he was like more worried about what was happening.
Fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, they look over at their lieutenant and he's like kind of shell shocked or something. Like he just like is staring. He's got that 1,000-yard stare or whatever. And they're like, all right, well, here's the new plan. Tracy's like, oh, I don't want to die here. I don't want to die. And then Mal gives a speech about like, oh, you're going to die sometime. And everybody's got a bullet with their name on it. And it just depends on who's delivering it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so they come up with this new plan to meet up with the 22nd. And they're like, you heard the lieutenant say that, right? Yep. You heard the lieutenant say that, right? Yep. And you're like, all right, well, let's go do that. And that's what the lieutenant said, because I don't want to get him in trouble or whatever if anybody shows up.
Or
and then some kind of like homing
or whatever.
Yeah. Then some kind of homing bomb shows up called a seeker. And it's just like shooting all over the place. They get all worried. A giant rock falls on Mal and Tracy. And Tracy's like, ow, my head. And Mal's like, get up, pussy. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw that again. It like lands on its leg, but it's really not shot well to see that where it lands. Because I saw that scene twice, and it kind of hits his leg, and he's like, get up. And he's like, I can't. And that's kind of the scene, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mal's basically like, get up. We got to go. We got to go.
Doesn't really do anything to paint this guy Tracy in like a interesting light.
Yeah.
like that's not a like he's like I think back on like Shane Black and Predator, and he's like telling those like jokes, and he's just like the funny comic relief character within the group, and you could get that, but he doesn't even come across as the funny one in this flashback that we see.
Yeah, like he just seems like a dumbass.
He seems like a guy that you guys have to take care of, but also isn't like young and dumb enough that you feel sorry for him. Like he's not like he's like the fresh-eyed 18-year-old, and you're like, oh man, let's take care of him because he's been here and he's out of his depths. It's like,
yeah, it's not like a little brother like situation where you have to like care over. He seems like the deadbeat cousin, like that just keeps fucking up.
Yeah, he seems like he's going to get you killed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's going to get you killed.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, all right, so that's the relationship they have with this guy. Why do they care so much?
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we snap back to present day, and everybody's looking at Tracy's body, and the crew is all worried. They're like, what's this all about? The postman is like, hey, fucking shut that casket. I can't get caught shipping dead bodies. That's illegal. And they're like, and he's like, you got to get that body out of here. And Mal and Zoe are like, why the fuck did we get sent this? Like, what is this? What's going on?
I love when Nari goes, is someone sending a message?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. And then Mal's like, well, let's like pack him back up and we got to take him on board. And Jayne's like, what? Why? So they pack him back up. Mal and Zoe, they start carrying his casket through the city. And Simon shows up and he's like, what's going on?
Wait, did you notice that they go to pick it up and Book wants to help? And then they're like, no, we got it.
Yeah. What was that about?
They're trying to do it like there's a funeral.
Yeah.
The episode is trying to do some stuff that hasn't gotten there yet. I'm like, we don't know as an audience who this guy is or why he's that important. And they're like, no, we got this. He was one of our soldiers. We'll carry it. I'm like, all right. I mean, I don't think Book helping was going to change the meaning of what was going on.
Yeah, I thought this episode was going to go in a way different direction after we saw that flashback. And then you see like Mal and Zoe kind of like forlorn and like sad about his death. And I thought it was going to be like more flashback stuff. That is not the route that we go.
Like you thought they would have let him down at some point and we find out like there's some like darker, deeper secret.
I thought it was going to be like you keep seeing flashbacks. Here's what I thought it was going to be at this point. I thought we were going to see a bunch more flashbacks of him kind of fucking up. And then we get the recording that we hear later about how he like, yeah, he's always been a fuck up. They take the casket to his family. And they're like, oh, he was always a fuck up. Then they lie and be like, no, he was a brave soldier or something. Like, I don't know. something like that.
Yeah. I didn't have anything in my mind while I was watching it, like where it was going to go. I was just kind of letting it wash over me at this point.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a more contemplative like thing about war and how it's like fucked up. But I mean, this is interesting where it goes as well.
I think at this point when they wouldn't let Book grab it and stuff and like Books, I thought we were going to end up having more of your prediction of Book and a message and a lesson learned type thing. I thought that was going to happen.
But anyway, I have here that Simon shows up and he strikes out with Kaylee some more. I don't remember what he said.
Kaylee cold shoulders Simon. River calls Simon a boob. I think he shows up and he's like, hey, he shows up and he's like, what's going on? Did we get something interesting? Because he doesn't know what the body is. And then like, she's just like, oh, insensitive jerk, kind of thing.
This dipshit
Yeah.
wasn't even around to see us open up a dead body.
Yeah.
So they take the body back to Serenity. Zoe is inspecting Tracy's like body and see what's going on, and he has a little tape recorder. And
Wash gets super jealous of her looking at another man's body.
Hey, that's my wife! He slaps Tracy.
That's not even unreasonable.
But yeah, Tracy had a little tape recorder on his person, and they play it. And Tracy is basically talking about how like, hey man, like I was a fuck up during the war, and I thought that the war was going to kill me, but it turns out the real world kills me. I fell in with some untrustworthy folk, and bad shit has happened to me, and I just want to, like, I know that like you guys carried me through that war. I just need you to carry me a little bit further. Please take me home. I would love to be buried by my family. They already have a plot and everything. It would just mean so much to me if you guys could do that for me. And they're sitting there. They're getting all, choked up, a little teary-eyed. Wash immediately is like, that'll take only 2 days. Like, we can totally do that. Let's go do that. And Mal apologizes to Inari. He's like, this might fuck up your schedule. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. And Serenity takes off on a course to Tracy's home planet of St. Albans.
I don't know.
Something. I'm just going to refer to it as Tracy's planet.
So, and Kaylee calls Simon a robot because he offers to do an autopsy because they don't know how he died. And I just thought that's not crazy for him to offer to do that. And this,
I remember Jayne said something about like he could be bringing a plague on. Like we don't know what he died.
What killed him? Yeah. And this scene is where it started to get a little weird for me because everyone is mourning the death of this guy, Anara, Wash. They are just like, no, I'll do this. I got you. I know. Like
Kaylee's looking at him like, man, that guy was so fuckable.
Yeah, I like Kaylee's reaction to this is just. She is so hurt by it. And I'm like, wait, haven't I seen them like kill people and be around dead bodies and be kind of flippant about it? And this one guy that most of the crew doesn't know. Like, I'm fine with Mal and Zoe feeling something. But everyone else is just like, man, this is crazy. Simon, you robot, you want to do an autopsy on him? I'm like, what? That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's very strange how everyone just falls in line with the sadness of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe if you saw how sad it made Zoe and Mal, you would feel like, oh man, this guy must have really meant something to them. This is like a good buddy. And like even hearing like his little sob story on his recording, like, I just want to be buried.
People didn't care about the dude that jumped in front of Jayne and took a bullet. They went on the ship and just started joking about cows and cattle and stuff. You know what I mean? Like Jayne felt that moment, but they were like, no, well, that's whatever. I don't know. It just seemed like they jumped. Like I could see if they had the guy on the ship and he died, they treat this guy almost as if he was a main character that died on the ship. Like it was Book that died and they reacted to it. Like, and Book, I know what I want to bring up. Book is really like, oh man, like really deep into this. And we had an episode where the Reavers attacked a whole ship. Book wanted to give them the last rites. And Mal didn't even want them to do all that. He was like, oh, we don't have to do all that, you know? Now, all of a sudden, one person's dead, and everyone's just like, oh my God, we have to. Like, Kaylee wasn't crying about that whole ship full of people. Zoe wasn't. Wash wasn't. It's just very, I don't know. It's just very interesting that this is the one that they all just like, this guy that we don't know.
We haven't even heard a story about
we don't even know his name or what he is. I would want the rest of the crew to be more worried, like Jayne, like, what is this thing? Like, why did we get sent him? But I guess they play the message and they get moved by his recording.
So we go back to that bustling city planet. We see the carnival barker again. Hey, we got the alien life. But now 3 Alliance, like, just, what are, just like fucking
Feds.
meatheads.
Yeah.
They're just like big bruiser type brutes. They show up and they're walking around and they go to the postman and they're like, did you get any kind of interesting post recently? And he's like, not that I can remember, just kind of normal shit. And he's like, buddy, don't fucking lie to me. I will arrest you and you'll go to prison and you'll get raped, my dude. Don't drop the soap, buddy. Look at your pretty face. They'll make a fucking woman out of you, buddy. You will be the fucking belle of the ball, you little bitch. And the guy's like, okay, there was a big crate. I want to go to jail.
He basically like, you're so ugly, the person that's going to fuck you in jail is going to be even worse looking. Yeah. I was just like, so nothing's changed in the future, huh? We're still threatening prison rape.
Yep.
Like, all right.
So they're there and they're like, we know that there is some body thing. You're illegally transporting human bodies and we want to know where it is. And they threaten to like light the guy on fire, and the post guy's like, whoa, okay. I got I don't know if there was a human body in it, but I did get a giant crate and it went to this guy, Malcolm Reynolds. He's got a Firefly. And then they're like, all right, well, fuck this guy. We don't need him alive anymore. Let's just gas him. They start like pouring gasoline all over him like they're going to light him on fire. Main bad guy lights a match and he's like, you're lucky this time. I won't light you on fire, but don't let me catch you transporting any human bodies again. Otherwise, you're going to be fucking getting ass raped in the clink. And he blows out the thing. I was just like, Jesus, that was a very intense scene out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, dude.
It's what you can expect because this actor that plays Womack here, I was like, I recognize him from something. And he was in 24. And he was also in Desperate Housewives, which I never watched.
The 24, the Whedonverse to 24 pipeline.
Yeah, that casting pipeline is there. And there's a lot of questionable tactics to get information out of people in 24.
Right? Dude?
And this was one of them.
Took it from here. Yeah, this is brutal, dude. Like, they just show up. And this post guy is just like the most jolly, like, hey, I'm not trying to have any trouble. And they're like, you will. Your butthole will, my dude. It's just like, oh my God. Easy.
Yeah, just say, show us the manifest. We know you got a big package here. Way to go. Like he would have given it up eventually.
I mean, and also I will say, like, Womack has like this gigantic cinder block head, like with a crew cut. Like, he looks like a bad guy villain from the 1980s. And I think his 2 cronies are even bigger than him. Like, he looks huge and thick. Like, he's a wall of a man. And then he's got 2 bigger guys with him. I'm just like, fuck.
Can't wait to him and Jayne fight it out.
You're right. So then we go back to Serenity, and Kaylee has commandeered Tracy's little recording device, and she is re-listening to Tracy's recording, and she is just so depressed. She is so moved by this recording, and she feels terrible. She's in her little hammock.
What the fuck is this? That's weird to me. That's weird.
Yeah.
And it's very forced. It's very forced.
Yes, 100%.
She's like stroking the recorder, like, oh, Tracy, if only we knew each other. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, she's like very downtrodden about this.
Yeah.
So much so that Simon's like walking to her room to, I guess, maybe chat with her about it or apologize for being an ass on the planet. And he hears her re-listening to it. And he's like, whoa, okay, she is feeling something right now. I will not interrupt. And he walks away.
He pulls a Homer Simpson into the bushes.
Absolutely, he does. But like, how did she get that? Like,
why is she
like? Was she
listening
ask Mal, like, "Hey, can I have that recorder? I want to re-listen to it. This guy was my lover in a past life or something."
I'll be in my bunk.
Yeah.
Like, what does she do? Like, it's a lot, man. I don't know.
It's very odd. It is very odd. But then we go over to Jayne pumping some fucking iron. And Book is there, and he's like praying over Tracy's little casket, kind of. And Jayne's like, yeah, man, like, Book, you want to get in? I'll spot you. Like, you want in on this? And Book is like, no, I'm just kind of like feeling kind of down right now, to be honest with you.
Plus, it's leg day, so.
Yeah. And Jayne's like, nah, yeah, I feel you, man. I don't know. Every time I see a dead body, though, like, one that I didn't kill, it kind of makes me want to do something, like it makes me want to like go out and be active and figure out like go around and kind of just be active. And Book is like, oh yeah, it makes you kind of like appreciate life a little more and makes you want to do some more stuff. And Jayne's kind of like, yeah, I guess so. And then they're kind of talking about like the different reactions to death. And as they're having this conversation, River shows up. And she just crawls on top of the coffin and is like laying on top of it. And Book is like, sweetie, oh, honey, no, don't do that. That's not where you should be. Maybe don't do that. And River's like, but I feel very comfortable here. And Jayne and Book look at each other and like, well, I guess that's one reaction to death.
What are we doing?
Yeah. I don't think we needed that.
Nope.
River doesn't play into this at all afterwards.
Which she should. She should play into this somehow.
Yeah.
Jayne also mentions like, oh, yeah, I just want to like work out or do something or, score with some lady. But it doesn't. Dead bodies don't do that to me. They don't make me horny like that. Because he's trying to just say he wants to like live life like you were saying. Like, he knows how short it's going to be. And he asked Book if he's going to say words over him when he passes. And Book's like, you're gonna probably outlive us all.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you'll be around for a very long time, my son.
I believe you will be a story for another day.
I mean, I was really enjoying this moment because it is like that contemplative like reaction to death situation. And then River shows up.
And she humps the casket. And you're like, what is this guy's riz?
He's got all the ladies under his spell and he's not even alive.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, what's going on, man?
So then we go to a little bit of what, like, I think could have helped with everyone's reaction. We have Mal and Zoe, and they're telling like old war stories about Tracy to Inara. And basically they're talking about a story where they had this like higher up sergeant or whatever, and he had a big mustache and it was like very iconic. It was his look. And one time as a prank in the middle of the night, Tracy shaved off this guy's mustache. And the next day the sergeant was like super pissed and he was like, who the fuck did it? And he's like grilling everybody. And then he gets into Tracy's face and Tracy is wearing his mustache. He like took all the hair from this guy's mustache and glued it on his face. And Mal and Zoe are like, this is like, it was like the funniest fucking prank we have ever seen. And I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Tell, don't show is what we say in the biz.
Yep.
And I love that Inara goes, wait, did he get in trouble for that? Because that's my thought. I'm like, I'm on the edge. I'm like, wait, you pulled that?
That's.
And before we can get an answer, Serenity gets attacked.
Yes.
And that's what
explosion.
Yeah.
warning shot was fired. The lights are flickering and going out and stuff. And they're like, they run to the bridge. And they're like, what's going on, Wash? And Wash is like, I don't know. They somebody's shooting at us. I think it's an Alliance ship.
I'm pretending to fly this ship. It's so funny watching him.
And they get a call on their FaceTime intercom situation. It's the Alliance guy, Womack, from the city. And he's like, hey, we think that you have illegal cargo on your ship. We are going to dock and inspect it. And Mal's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. Like, what? He's like, you just picked up a package off of that little space station. We think it's got illegal contraband. Prepare for docking. Don't try to fucking get away. You have something that I'm looking for. And Mal's like, I mean, oh, okay, sure. I mean, I'll look around. You feel free, but we're not aware of anything. And then they hang up. And Mal is like, Wash, keep him busy. If he calls again, we got to figure something out.
Yeah. Because at first, Mal thinks that it's the Lassiter that they were after. Mm-hmm. And that's the last bit we get with the Lassiter for right now. Because they've been trying to fence it and they can't, because it's like trying to fence the Mona Lisa or something they say earlier, right?
Yeah. Mal's like, the what? The Mona Husa? Mona what's up? So Mal, Zoe, and Jayne are now suspicious. And they're like, we got to bust open Tracy's little coffin here. There's something must be going on. It can't just be his dead body, because these Alliance guys are not joking. Mm-hmm. And they break it all apart and they look and they're like, is there anything valuable in here? Like, what could they be after? And then Simon's around and Mal's like, you know what, Simon, might be a good time for that autopsy, actually, because we got to see if there's something inside of him. Like, I don't know why these guys are so hell-bent on getting this guy's body. What the fuck?
And Kaylee's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah, because they're like, well, how could this isn't right? And Mal's like, neither is all of us dying.
Yeah, it's like, it's an autopsy. Like, it's not like that unheard of for what happened.
It's not like they're like doing a prank on him, right? Like they're gonna like steal his arm and sell it on the black market. They just want to figure out what's going on.
You guys were handcuffing people and holding people hostages and stuff and running heists.
I gotta say, like, once again, it is so wild that Kaylee has a crush on Simon, because he was like, I am not performing surgery on this girl until you give me safe passage. He was going to let Kaylee die.
She wasn't conscious for that, though.
Yeah.
And also,
a lot of blood.
Also, he was going to help her regardless, but that was the only card he had to play.
Yeah.
You got to play
Empty
the card.
threat.
Have you seen River? Have you seen the way she humped that casket? You can't let them get rid of her and drop her off.
Fair enough.
The fact that Jayne is still cool with Simon, Yeah. And they're all just hanging out with each other. The only person that hasn't wronged someone has Zoe wronged anybody yet?
Her husband. She lied to Wash. About telling Mal his plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has Book wronged anybody? Book
is holding a secret that comes up again later. That's just, they're just letting this guy coast.
Yeah, man. No questions asked.
No questions. The ending of this episode is strange.
So they take Tracy's body to the infirmary, and Simon's about to perform the autopsy, and he's looking at him. He's like, this guy's been opened up before. And they're like, how can you tell? He's like, well, whoever did like his surgery before is like really good. They covered it up really well, but he definitely has been worked on. Something's fishy here. So he starts to begin the autopsy and like cut him open. And this wakes Tracy up. Tracy wakes up screaming in Simon's face, and everybody starts screaming. Tracy leaps off of the table, starts attacking Simon. Mal takes him down, and he's just like sitting on him. Tracy's butt ass naked, and Simon's just like on top of him, He's like, Tracy, it's fine. What's going on here, man? And he's like, what's going on, Sarge? Captain, what's happening? What's going on here? And he's like, you're fine. Like, calm down. And then Tracy goes, Captain, I think I'm naked.
Because Mal's on top of him. It's a very, very interesting shot.
Yeah.
Now,
gotta cover the bit somehow.
One of my favorite things before he wakes up is that Jayne is sitting in there. They're all sitting around at this autopsy. I'm like, why are you guys all sitting in here? One, like, not how this would go. Two, Jayne is twirling his hat pigtails and saying, there might be gold in there.
I think it's gold. I think it's gold in that there into my body.
He's twisting his hat like it's his hair. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And then when Tracy gets up and starts fighting Simon, Jayne goes, he's spry for a dead guy.
Yeah.
Just great stuff.
Yeah. Jayne's got some good lines. Like, he says the gold thing like twice.
Yeah. He was real. He loves his money, man. He tried to scam Mal earlier at the park.
Yeah. But yeah, so Tracy then apologizes to everybody for freaking out. And Mal is like, yeah. What the fuck is going on? What are you up to? What's happening here? And Tracy's like, look, man, I just want to go home. And Mal's like, I get that. Why are Alliance people shooting at us? Why are people after you? And then Simon's doing some like tests on him, and Simon's like, oh my God, this guy he's in cardiac arrest. Like, what's going on? He's having a heart attack. And everyone's looking at him like, he's looking pretty calm for having a heart attack. And Tracy's kind of like, yeah, you should check all my vitals because they're all off the fucking charts, my dude. They're like, why is that?
And then Kaylee shows up.
Yeah. And dude, Kaylee's just like longingly staring at Tracy.
She shows up and like we got the heart monitor and like he sees Kaylee and it starts beeping a little faster. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm. So he then explains to everyone that he had all of his organs scooped out and replaced with other organs that he is a organ mule for. He's transferring them. They were grown in a lab and it's illegal to use them so far. And he's smuggling these organs to his home planet because he was supposed to sell these lab-grown organs to the Alliance or something, but he found somebody on his home planet that was going to pay him more for them. So that's why the Alliance is after him. And after he was going...
It's so dumb.
After he gives them the organs, they were going to give him back his original organs.
What? What? I need Simon to explain the medical process that will be taking out all of your organs and replacing them.
When he said that he got his innards scooped out. I was like, what?
At first I was like
a melon baller.
First I was like, oh, this is going to be a commentary on like healthcare and that the Alliance promised to give him these like organ donations, but he had to like continue working for them and he didn't want to. And now they're kind of coming to like repo it. I think there's like a movie that has like something like that in it.
I think it's called Repo.
Is that the Repo Man thing? Or
generic
something?
opera. And guess who stars in it? Giles, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's like something like that, right? But instead he's like, no, they just have these organs. I need to transport them. They're going to take them out and put mine back in because that's how that works.
So here's what I don't understand. So he's going to, like, I'm assuming that the Alliance still has his original organs. Like,
yeah.
Just because he's going to his home planet, like his original organs weren't in that casket with him.
No, I don't know where he's getting his organs back for when he sells these to the highest bidder. And also, you're going to trust that they're going to put yours back in? Why wouldn't they just take both?
Right? They're already like shady figures, you know? Also, why do these organs make his heart like more active?
Right? And why he needs to use the one that's like grown in a lab to keep them in his body, so that's how they work or whatever. But why are his organs that are now outside of his body going to work later when he put them back in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's how organ transplants work.
Yeah,
like
but
today, but
like all of them.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
like all of them. It's not just. It wasn't just like the heart and the lung. Or it wasn't. It was just like everything. It sounded like they scooped them.
Yeah, dude. When he started explaining this, I was like, "What? What?"
And Kaylee is swooning over him.
Yeah, she's swooning because his whole plan is with the money that he sells these lab-grown organs with, he was going to buy his parents a new house. And that's when Kaylee's like, oh, you're such a sweet guy, Webbs, Knox, Tracy.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. So then Serenity gets hit again with Alliance fire. And Mal's like, see, that's the kind of fucking hell that you're bringing on to us, my dude. Like, what the fuck? So Mal tells the Alliance guys that they're going to land on St. Albans or whatever. And the Alliance cop is like, don't try to fucking evade us, man. Like, we are on to you. We will blow you up. And he's like, look, dude, you're the last shot that you fired at us, like, destroyed our thrusters or whatever. So we have to land on this planet. And we'll give you can do your search when we get here. The Alliance ship is like, all right, we're going to follow you. Don't try anything funny. And they're like, right on. So then we have Kaylee and Tracy. Well, they're landing on the planet. And there's a bunch of turbulence. And Mal tells everybody, like, hey, everybody, hold on, be safe. There's going to be some turbulence. There's going to be some crazy rattling and rolling. So everybody stay calm. Tracy, you go into the back with Kaylee. Dude, when Mal's on the phone with that Alliance guy and Tracy's just standing in the back,
yeah,
I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Hide. And Tracy's like very adamant about like, no, I want to stay. I want to say, like, what?
I thought there was going to be something more about the Alliance, like Womack and him. Like there's some other thing.
Yeah, I definitely thought there was going to be more to do with Womack.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yes, Tracy goes to hide with Kaylee. And they're like holding on to something. And then there's some turbulence. And then Kaylee grabs Tracy in the turbulence. And she's like, oh, hi, big, strong, lab-grown organ man. She's like, oh, so... must be nice. And Tracy's basically like, oh yeah, you know, it's very nice. You know, it's crazy that you're here. You're married to that Wash guy, right? And she's like, oh no, he's married to Zoe. And he's like, what? Zoe got married? She was like the coldest bitch of a person I've ever met. How did she get married? And Kaylee's like, yeah, I don't know what she did.
It feels weird that he's being told this and he's not seeing her with Wash. Like that could happen. Like he could literally see her kiss Wash and be like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And Simon also isn't around for the jealousy part of this. Nope. So, which makes it seems like this is happening to be a thing for Simon to be worked up about, but he is not around for any of this stuff either. It seems like it's not doing what it needs to do, but it's there.
Yeah. Like Tracy's asking this basically to kind of suss out if Kaylee is single, and then she kind of is like asking him questions to suss out if he is single, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm taken. The guy that's got his organs scooped out.
The guy who was dead 5 minutes ago.
The guy that's been dead for a week. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, you didn't get my wife's casket too? Jeez.
So are you seeing anybody, dead guy? Twirling her hair like Jayne. Oh, man. So we go back to the cockpit where Wash is like trying to land this plane and there's so much turbulence. But Book is sitting there and he's got his arms crossed and he's looking at some monitor.
Mhm.
And they're like, Book, what are you looking at? And Book is like, well, I think it's kind of suspicious. Something's going on here because these Alliance guys that are chasing us, they haven't made contact since we've gotten into atmosphere with the Alliance station that's on this planet, and it is not far away. They should be making contact with them to call for backup. It's very suspicious that they have not done that.
And Book, you know this is procedure how?
And everybody just kind of looks at Book and they're like, okay, we'll take that.
Yep.
We'll take that information. Thanks, Book.
Keep that in your back pocket, Book.
Yeah. So they get onto the planet. They're like in the atmosphere, and Wash is doing some evasive piloting stuff. He's trying to shake these Alliance guys, and he's trying to lose them. But bad guys are like, yo, we told you not to do this. So guess what? We're going to start shooting missiles at you guys. Book tells everybody, hang on to your hats, everybody. It's about to get bumpy. And he starts flying down into these like crazy caves and shit.
Wash does that. Wash does
Oh,
that?
yeah. Wash, yeah. Wash is like flying down through these crazy caves and there's all kinds of danger. And he's like, I'm the best pilot in the fucking galaxy. They're not going to be able to follow me down here. And so he's flying down and then eventually he flies into like a cave type thing to where he can hide and try to lose them. And Wash is like, all right, yeah, they're not going to be able to find us here.
This is a gross looking space chase. The effects are just, it's like a snowy planet.
Some of the stuff.
It just, I mean, it's of the time. It's that TV budget space stuff, but man, it's not good for the eyes.
They tried to replicate some like pod racer stuff from the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
but
on a shoestring budget comparatively.
Yeah. But they land in this like little secret cave. And Wash is like, they're not going to be able to find us here. I powered us all down so they won't be able to read our signals. We should be good under here. Lo and behold, the Alliance people just start dropping bombs around where they landed. And I was like, how did you not think that was going to happen? They shot a missile at you. Of course they're going to do this kind of shit.
They say they're triangulating where they possibly are.
Back in the cockpit, everybody starts freaking out. Tracy comes back into the cockpit. Book is like, I know what we have to do. We have something that we need to do. And Book is like, we have to give ourselves up. And Tracy's listening to this. Like, nobody knows that Tracy's in the room yet. Like, he's just kind of listening in through the door. And after he hears Book say, like, we got to surrender. We got to give ourselves up to the Alliance. Tracy looks over at a table where there's a bunch of guns. And he's like, oh, no, you fucking won't. So Mal agrees, like, hey, that's actually a pretty good idea. Because if we don't give ourselves up now, we're all going to die in this cave. Like, they're going to just avalanche us to death.
Before we get to this scene, there's while they're being shot at, we get a shot of like Anara and her little shuttle being afraid.
Mm-hmm.
We get
her teacup is rattling.
And then we get River counting the lightning as if it's, or the explosions as if it's like thunder. And she's like, I'm counting to see if the storm's coming or passing. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like,
River, can't you feel everything?
They do not make her
heads up.
They do not make her smart in this episode. Like, she can't eat the food. She's humping caskets. She's thinking at a thunderstorm, which I don't know.
Yeah. But Mal agrees with Book. The best course of action is to give themselves up. They don't want to die in that cave. Jayne is like, fuck yeah, I don't want to die in the cave either. Like, we got to give ourselves up. Fuck this guy. I'm sorry. I know he's your war buddy, but like, I ain't trying to die under this snowy bullshit. And once Tracy hears that, he pulls a gun on everybody. He goes, "No, you're fucking not. You are not giving yourselves up." And everybody puts their hands up. In this cockpit is Zoe, Mal, Wash, Book, and Jayne.
Mhm.
Tracy's got the gun, starts pointing it at Wash, and he's like, "Wash, you fucking fire up that engine. Let's get out of here. They're not going to be able to catch us. Let's go." And Wash is like, and Mal's like, "Don't do that." And Tracy's like, "I'll fucking shoot this guy." And Mal is like, "Do not do that, Wash. Tracy, why are you doing this? Why are you pulling a gun on us?" He's like, "I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. These guys are after me. They're going to fucking, if you only heard what they said to that postman, they're going to say some shit like that to me probably." And then Mal is like, "Bro, honestly, fuck you. Fuck you for bringing all this trouble onto us. Like, we thought we were doing you a favor, and you just brought us nothing but trouble. These Alliance guys are trying to kill us now. We're on the brink of death, and now you're pulling a gun on us? Fuck that."
You're no better than Simon.
Yeah. Kaylee's got the hots for these guys that just keep bringing trouble to the
Yeah. I'm surprised Mal wasn't like, "He's a part of the crew now, Jayne."
Yeah. But then eventually, Mal tells Wash, like, "You radio into the guys, tell them where we're at, and we're going to give ourselves up." Wash goes to reach for the radio. Tracy shoots him. Then everybody starts to swarm Tracy. Or no, that's not it. Zoe shoots Tracy after he shoots Wash.
He shoots at Wash. It kind of like ricochets and singes the side of his face or something.
Yeah.
And then somehow Zoe shotguns.
I know, dude. She's got a humongous gun. How did she sneak that in there?
How is he moving?
Yeah.
How is he alive after the shot?
She shoots him, and then Tracy runs out of there. He's like, "Oh, are you serious? You shot me?" He runs out of there. Kaylee runs out from her room, and she's like, "What's going on?" And Tracy grabs her, takes her hostage.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling Kaylee, he's like running away with Kaylee. He's got a gun to her head, and he's like, "You wouldn't let them, like, Mal's trying to like sell me off. Like, you wouldn't let them do that to me, would you? We gotta go into the shuttle. We gotta get out of here. We gotta go into that shuttle, and let's skedaddle, you and me." Then Mal shows up, and he pulls a gun on Tracy. He's like, "You're not going any further, my man." And Tracy turns around. He's got his gun to Kaylee's head. He's like, "Oh, fuck you. Fuck you, Mal. You're trying to give me up. You know what? The reason I picked you and Zoe to deliver my body and run this whole scam is because you two were always such fucking saps. You were saps. You're always so emotional, and Mal, you used to be so full of glory and honor and all this bullshit. Fucking idiots. I knew that you two would take the bait to take me back home because you're emotional bitches." And then Mal's like, "Yeah, I'm an emotional bitch." Like, then other members of the crew start to like kind of surround Tracy. Zoe's around there with her gun. Jayne's there with his gun. Mal's got his gun. Tracy goes like he's about to shoot Kaylee or something, or he turns around to see.
Jayne cocks his shotgun. He goes to turn towards that, and then Mal shoots him.
Yes.
When he turned to open.
And Tracy goes flying back. He's like, "You fucking shot me. How could you?"
I don't know how that pistol did more damage than that point blank shotgun. But
right?
Sure. What are these organs that he has in him?
Dude. No idea.
Yeah.
So then Tracy's like just kind of like limply like slung over like on the side of like this like little bridge that they have. And then the bad guys, the Alliance, Womack and his crew, they board the ship.
Well, before they board the ship, he has a line where Tracy says something like, you killed me. And then Mal goes, no, son, you murdered yourself. I just carried the bullet a while.
Yeah. Call back to his little flashback thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, then Womack and his flunkies get on the ship, and everybody's got their guns pointed at Womack and their boys. And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to do this. You guys are threatening an Alliance officer. That's bad news. Where's the fucking guy that we're looking for?" And then, unarmed, Book steps out, and he's like, "You don't want to do that, son." And Womack's like, "Oh yeah, what do you have to say, preacher? Like, we're not above killing a priest." And then Book goes, I thought it was kind of suspicious that you landed in atmosphere, and there's an Alliance station not too far from here, 8 clicks down the road, and you never called for backup, which is protocol. And I'm starting to wonder why you would do that. I think you had a little deal going on the side. I think that you're a crooked cop, basically.
Yeah.
And the Serenity crew, they all cock their guns, and they're all pointing at Womack. And Womack's like, all right. You got the best of me this time. We'll leave. And so they leave, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, he's like, damaged goods anyway. Jayne, your hat looks stupid anyway. You look like an idiot. And he backs out. And what? like basically Book's like, they wouldn't even miss you guys if we like killed you all. But I'm like, you guys have the high ground with people at the top, but at the same time, they could just get in their ship and then just bomb the shit out of you, and there's no reason for them not.
Exactly. They're still in that underground cave. Like, they could do exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you? Just because, why not bury your mistake?
Dude, I have no idea.
And no one is like, how is Book able to just talk these guys down?
Yeah.
And this seems to be their plan, too. This was... Yeah.
There's
I'll talk
worse
about
things
it later.
in TV shows. It's, it was a little odd. When Book came sauntering out unarmed and like everybody else has got guns pointed, like I figured that Mal would have given this speech based on the information that Book would have given him.
Mm-hmm.
But when Book comes out and he's like in Womack's face, like, you're going to leave because I think that you're crooked. And Womack just backs down immediately. I was like, this guy was, what?
Hand over the dude that's dying. Like, why? That's what I want. And you guys are obviously just shooting at him. So like, give me him and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my biggest issue is because of what happens next is that this was their plan the whole time, was to let them on, talk them down because of whatever, this Book info, right? But we get the rom-com situation where you just don't tell the person that, like, I'm sorry, I was pretending to be someone else the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they could have told Tracy when he had the gun pointed at them that the plan wasn't to turn him over.
Yeah.
That could have solved a lot of problems.
Yeah.
When he goes to the doorway and he overhears Book saying it, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting because now he's going to attack Book later. I didn't expect it to be a full shootout here. I thought he would take the gun and then later shoot when they came on board and then something happened. But once he has it in that room, you could be like, hey, Tracy, we have this under control. We're just going to do this thing. No one says this.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, I feel like little thing with Angel as well, and this episode, people say things that you think are going to go one way and then they go another way, and it's just supposed to be like they don't show on screen the reveal of actual plans. It's just like everybody has an automatic understanding that they would never have. Like Book, when he's like, we have to give ourselves up. And then we never see the formulation of this actual plan.
Yeah.
So that when they enact it, it's like a total like I get that they're going for the surprise.
But it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense because
I thought they were going to do it that way because this is how it normally happens in TV shows. He goes, I think we should turn ourselves in. And then Tracy overhears it, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes, huh? And then he leaves. And then he misses hearing the second part of the plan.
Yeah.
But the way they did it was like, he hears this commercial break, come back. We're in the exact same scene. I thought he was going to take a gun, go to Kaylee, try to get on the shuttle to get out, not hearing what the rest of the plan is. But he heard the plan. Like,
Book didn't even give like a wink, like, we need to turn ourselves in because I've got something up my sleeve.
Yes.
Like, it's just like this automatic knowing of the plan, like an unspoken, like, hey, we know what we're all talking about, but they don't have that wink. Yeah. So that they're going for the surprise, which I understand. And it is surprising, but like, it seems like too much of a surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the next scene we have is Tracy like dying and he's apologizing. And he's like, oh, you guys had a plan this whole time. And they're like, and Mal's like, yeah, dummy. We knew what we were doing. But it's like, Tracy was there. He heard the whole thing. Like, there was no book saying, we need to turn ourselves in. And then something. Yeah. That's why I thought he was going to leave and miss that. I thought he was just going to not be a part of that. Because if that was and if that was the plan, why, when he has a gun pointed at everyone, why are you guys talking about like, hey man, you brought this on us, so we got to get rid of you? Just say, hey, we got a plan. We're going to invite them on and like threaten them, and they're just get them to go away. They did not try to de-escalate when he had the gun pointed.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, you're totally right. I think like what bothers me is like the automatic knowing of the plan without without even a wink, without even a hint that there's another plan going on. Yeah. Like I feel like there needs to be that extra little like, don't worry, I've got this under control, or like I know something that they don't know. Yeah. But like as it is shown, it literally looks like they're just going to give themselves up and give in Tracy.
There is no room for confusion in Tracy's eyes.
Yeah.
And that's where it needs to be, where like he missed something. But we are seeing exactly what he's seeing, and there's no time between it. And even Jayne's like, yeah, let's get him off the ship. And I'm like, what is Tracy supposed to think in that situation?
But yeah, as Vance was saying, like the next scene after Womack leaves is like Simon's tending to Tracy, and Tracy kind of admits like, yeah, I never could get my life working right. Like I thought the war was going to be bad. It's kind of like what I said in the recording. I thought the war was going to kill me, but like reality did actually kill me. And I'm sorry, everybody. And Kaylee, especially you, like, oof, I'm very sorry that I fucking took advantage of you and took you hostage. And
sorry, girl, I just met 5 minutes ago.
And he's like, yeah, the message that I had buried with me, that was a trick at the beginning, but now can it actually be real? Like, can we actually do that? Can you send my body to my parents? And then Mal and Zoe are like, yeah, totally. And I'm like, bro, just dump him out here.
This broke me. This whole funeral procession that we get where they're playing the recording broke me. He just 5 minutes ago was talking about how they were saps and how he just tried to con them, and this was all a con. And they're still giving him this like hero's funeral.
Dude, everybody dresses up. Like, I get that it's a winter planet, but they look so like they're ready. They got their finest outfits on.
You would think it's one of the main characters in the crew died.
Bro, Jayne takes his hat off and he's like holding it in his hand like he's inconsolable.
You wanted to boot this guy off the ship like 5 minutes ago. You guys just shot at him. He just held Kaylee hostage. Like, what are we doing? And they're playing the recording that he used to scam them. And they're playing it and they're like, this is so meaningful, right? I'm like, no. He just said it was a scam.
Kaylee gives the family the recording.
Why are they revering this guy?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a funeral for Knox Webb's more than it is for this Tracy guy. Like,
yeah,
what is it? It's too much.
Yeah,
it's way too much.
Very sappy. Like this scene should have been like the episode that I was thinking about, where it's like a bunch of flashbacks and it's a contemplation about war and how it's terrible, and it like tears people apart or makes them go crazy or whatever. But this is like, this guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he was going to sell his organs and then buy his family a house.
No.
He's a fuck up.
The guy, we find out this guy was like a bad soldier. Just like really just
con
bad.
Artist.
Just like a bad soldier altogether. Con artist, was scamming the Alliance out of some stuff, which is fine, I guess. But
manipulated Kaylee. Took her hostage.
Well, I don't know. Kaylee was manipulated herself. He was dead in a casket. She was already fawning over him. But then the two people that saved him during the war, he decided to scam and call saps. And then at the end, they're like, yeah, let's really have a somber moment for this guy. This tragic loss of this douchebag. I just was like, what are we going for? And I know they're playing the music and they're trying to get the emotional feel, but I'm like,
oh, everything is slow motion.
And it just doesn't work with what I just saw him do. And then Kaylee grabbed Simon's hand. So is that like Simon's the best option? Like, what was that? What were they going for there? Why is now she's like, I'm good with Simon again?
Yeah, it was like, you know what? Fuck you, Simon. I got a better option on board.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, like
what?
Kaylee's. Yeah, when Kaylee grabbed Simon's hand, like, she was really about to just like, yeah, fuck Simon. I'm with Tracy now. Like, I like this guy. He's paying attention to me. He's complimenting me. He's smooth. He's got the riz.
He has nothing. I know nothing about him.
And she's like, yeah, well, fuck Simon. Yeah. He always like mistakenly insults me. And then it turns out like Tracy's a piece of shit. Dude, I love when Tracy takes her hostage and she's like, what's going on? What's happening?
River, use your blind shooting to save me.
Yeah. Kill him with your mind. Scoop him out with your mind.
What about your innards?
And then the end where she's just like, all right, fine. I guess I'll go back to the guy that accidentally insults me all the time. Like,
they don't do enough with the way the episode starts. You think it's going to be a Simon, Kaylee, this guy, he's a third wheel situation. But they don't let them have scenes together, except for his heart beating crazy. Kaylee walks in the doorway. We do not cut to like a close up of Simon reacting to her reaction to that.
Dude, for all he knows, Simon has no idea that they've been like bonding and getting close.
Yeah.
Like Simon's just like away.
Yeah. Like all he knows is she's horny for his message that she's been listening to. When they give him a hero's funeral, a Viking funeral almost, the planet, everybody's there. Like they land on the planet and everyone's waiting for him.
Yeah.
Did they know? Did they call in and be like, hey, we got a dead body coming?
I guess. And it's just like the whole Serenity crew is like a pallbearer for this guy. It's like,
what?
I just can't get over Jayne taking off his hat and like holding it in his hand like, oh God, this is so like Jayne would never.
This is the guy he was just like bench pressing next to and being like, ooh, maybe there's gold inside of him. And then all of a sudden he took a member hostage and you guys had to shoot him. And you're just like, oh, I can't believe we lost this guy I'd known for 5 seconds.
Yeah, that Kaylee I can get based on the story. Like Simon,
it doesn't make sense. Kaylee's way too quick.
Look, but at least they had more of a reason to make her sad.
Yes.
And like Book, I get because he's a priest or whatever. But like Jayne, why would Jayne be so heartbroken about this?
Not at all.
But yeah, that's kind of. I mean, all of these criticisms and critiques aside, still kind of enjoyed the episode. Was nice to see what's his face.
I was enjoying it up until the end. I was enjoying it up until the end. It started. I think the turning point is when he had his innards scooped out. For me, I was all right. We're saying aliens don't exist, but you could just like rip out everyone's organs.
Yeah. I also love that like the whole premise of this is like, yeah, some of these outer planets don't got the newest technologies, but this guy is getting his innards scooped out. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And replaced with like non-organic, grown in a lab organs
that are super powered. Because he took that shotgun shot, and I was like, he's going to go down, right? And he's still walking. And I was like,
well,
wait,
I
what?
thought that when they were talking about how his heart is like going crazy and all of his other like, you can test all my vitals. I thought he was going to be like superhuman or something, but he's not really.
No, he just takes another shot and he's dying.
Yeah.
I would love them explain on this planet how he died. They're like, their doctor's like, these wounds seem fresh. Like,
we got a shotgun blast to the chest and a pistol shot to the stomach.
Zoe's gun is still warm from shooting him.
But yeah, that is the episode. You got anything else to say about the message?
No, it's just I can't believe they played the message again. They play that message again and they try to reframe it like it's a meaningful thing. But at this point, he said he was scamming them, and it drove me insane.
The rule of threes, Vance. They played at the start. They had Kaylee whimpering when she's playing it. And
Why
they had
is she
the little
crying
narrative.
over it? Why is she crying over this guy that she never met?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next episode is titled Heart of Gold.
Oh, is he back? Did he get new organs?
They scooped out his heart and it's made of gold, and Jayne's like, fuck yeah, I knew it.
Jayne, where'd you get that gold? Oh yeah, that was in his chest. Oh man, this is gonna be an Inara episode.
Oh, you think it's gonna be an Inara episode? Okay.
I don't think it's beyond them to do a hooker with the heart of gold type thing. As much as they call her a whore.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to keep with my prediction that I have. It's a book episode. No, you know what? This is a Mal. This is a Mal episode. You know what? I'm going to piggyback off of yours. I'm going to think that Inara gets kidnapped or something, and Mal has to make some kind of big sacrifice to save her. Maybe like trade the laser gun for her life or something. And she's going to be like, how could you? That thing was priceless. We did so much for that laser gun. He's like, oh, there is a price for the laser gun, but you, Inara, you are priceless. Some kind of shit like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that is a wrap for the message, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you for all of your patronage. Once again, bookend it here. After Firefly is all wrapped up and done, we will be moving on to Veronica Mars. So hop on our Discord. Let us know what you think about that. Are you excited? Are you pumped? Are you jazzed? Have you seen Veronica Mars? Are you stoked about it? No spoilers, please, for Veronica Mars. Join our Discord. Join our Patreon, where we are talking about the last episode of Angel, the series finale. We've got that going on, and after we're done with Angel, we're moving on to Dollhouse. There's Boys Watching Movies, Long Kiss Goodnight. That is up. That is ready. And and all those individual movies, if you want to purchase those individually, that's an option for you now. Patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. If you want to get a shout out, haven't done one of those in a while. Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating and review. Spotify, 5-star rating. Take a screenshot of it, send it in to us. Instagram, TikTok, @BoysWatchingBuffy. BoysWatchingBuffy@gmail.com is the email. We've got merch. We've got Amazon wish list. Happy New Year. Happy holidays, everybody, if you're listening to this as it comes out. So stoked to keep doing this for you in 2025. One of the great pleasures in life.
The only pleasure we have in life, Joe.
Yeah,
this
basically.
That's all we got.
Yep. Any hoozles? And that's a wrap. And stay tuned next week for when we talk about Heart of Gold.
This may come as a shock, but I'm actually not very good at talking to girls.
Why? Is there someone you are good at talking to?
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.